In this video, we're going to look at how we can apply a specific unit in grade 7 math, and this unit here is going to be focusing on rational numbers, and this here has a couple of parts to it, and that will be what we'll be looking at in future videos. But for this video, we're going to be looking at part 1, where for part 1 the expectation specifically is the following, which is how are we going to be able to represent numbers in different forms. Specifically for grade 7s, you'll be looking at whole numbers, and here are the three things that we are going to be addressing in this particular video. The first here, when it comes to representing whole number, is how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this in words when we are giving in words and we are transforming it to the second one here, which is in what? Numerical form. And this here can also be called what? Standard form. And this here can be back and forth or done wise, and this here we'll look at examples when it comes to this particular going from words to numerical or numerals back to words. Now the third one here is looking at how are we going to be able to write whole numbers in what? In expanded form. And the specific type of expanded form that we'll be looking at here is how are we going to use what? The powers of 10 to show whole numbers. And these are the three things we're going to look at. And we're going to look at examples of these and some applications in the real world. So let's begin. Now first, in words, when we are going to be focusing on words, we look at how to place digits that are between 0 and 9 in place values, and these place values is going to be looked at when it comes to the tools that you need to be aware of when it comes to placing digits on a particular place value. And so this includes the following, where in here we have a grid, and this grid starting from right to left, we see that at the very first part, which is just before the decimal point, we have our first digit, which is the ones. And if you want to write this in terms of number, powers of 1 each, then we have our ones. For the tens, it is the tens. The next is 100, and this here has 100s, and this here, once we're done, moves on to the next category, which is the thousands. And the thousands is divided into three parts, where we have our ones, our tens, and we have our hundreds of thousands. And then moving on to the next category here, we have our millions, and this here is also split into three parts, where we have our ones, which is our million. Next is our 10 million, and followed by our 100 millions. And next here is our what? Billion category, where we have our split into three parts again, and we have our 1 million, we have our 10 million, and we have our 100 million, before moving on to the next one, which is the trillions. And so this here shows you how this particular pattern of the place value looks like, where we are moving from our ones to the tens to the hundreds. An example of this here is given the numerical value to be, in this case we have 18345, and we have 769. And to write this in words, what we realize is that this here doesn't have any decimal point, so that means we are going to place our very last digit here at the far right of this particular place value, and this here is going to be R9 followed by R6, R7. Therefore, once we have placed our digits to the proper classification or place value, then we can pronounce them in words. And in here we have our first group here to be tens of millions, so this here is our 18 million, and then the next part here is our hundreds of thousands, and so this will be 345,000, and then our last part here is our hundred tens and units, which in this case is 769. And so this here is how we are able to use our tool to be able to place our digits in the specific place value and name the particular number in words using this particular tool right here. Take note that this here is just focusing on the what? Just focusing on whole numbers. When it comes to decimal numbers, then we're going to look at different scenarios on how that plays out. Now, there are a couple of practice questions that you might come across that are as follows. First practice questions for you is if you're given this number here for an easy start, and then we have another one here which is 24, and we have a 0, 1, 0, and last one here will be, let's generate a really big number, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, in terms of the solution, if you're asked now to solve this particular question, what I encourage you to do is, of course, pause this video and you should be able to transform them to words. Now, take note that you can use, of course, the tool box here, which shows you the different categories. So now you've played, let's see the solution here. So for A, we have a number to be 970. Take note that here, this here is a whole number. This here is going to be 1, 0, which is its place value. The place value of 7 is tens, and the place value of 9 is 100. So this here is just 900 and what? 70. Now the next one here is 24010. This here is a whole number. What you can do is every 3 digits you put a comma, and so from right to left we have 1, 2, 3, comma 1, 2, and so this here automatically tells us that it's in tens of thousands, and so we have what this to be labeled as 24,010. Why? Because our 0 here, which is 100, is a 0, so we don't name the 0 as a place value. Likewise, our particular 0 after the 1, we don't place that particular 0 as a place value in words. So in here, our 1 is going to be placed as 10, and because it's just 1 and 0, automatically that is why we have our 10 right there. And here for the final number, what we're going to do is put our commas after the third digit, moving from right to left, and so here, here. And so once we do this, we are able to see that this here is the hundreds, this here is the thousandth, and this here is the millions. And so this here, because it is at the 100 of the million, we have this here to be 987 million. And then the next part here is the thousands, and so this shows that it is in the hundred, tens, and ones of the thousands, so 654 thousands. And then the final part here is just 321. And so this is how we address our numbers in terms of determining the words using our place value system as shown right here. So on our next video, we're going to be looking at how about to represent whole numbers using numerical or standard form. Let's say, for example, given words. So I hope you found this really informative. Please hit a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts about this strategy. If there's another strategy that you learned that might be helpful, you can drop down into the comment section and let me know your thoughts about this. All the same, stay smart as always and believe in yourselves.